If you thought that the witness was going to be the boss of the final shape, you would be incorrect. The real enemy is instead Destiny 2 servers. Enough time passes as the issues occur that the sun has set behind me. Oh, we're actually in. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Pineapple. It only took until you were able to solve these server problems. Thank God. We're finally, like, I've literally been here for the last 2 hours trying to fucking do this, but here we are. I guess this does mean more spoilers, by the way, so
he's scared.
Probably cannot be watching this if you aren't caught up, but yeah.
I'm scared before, not like this. I understand the fear, I feel it too, but I don't know what he'll do with it.
Eris once told me fear is a knife. We can use it to hurt others or ourselves, but we also have the choice to sheath it.
Yeah. Well, maybe when we get over this mountain, we can make sure no one gets all stabby with their feelings.
Crow, being new to the Vanguard, asked Cayde if he remembers a time where Commander Zavala was in a state of anxiety and anguish like he is now. Cayde mentions that the worst he remembers seeing Zavala was right after the Great Disaster. I'm not exactly sure what the Great Disaster is. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that might be referring to when Gaul took control of the Traveler, maybe? I don't know. That was a pretty big event for Destiny. In fact, that's what started off Destiny 2. So that's probably what the Great Disaster is referring to, based on my limited knowledge. Cayde does follow up, though, and notes that the state Zavala is in right now, though, is something else. So right now, Zavala is acting even more odd than he did at the time that Cayde remembers him acting the most strange in. Cayde is able to place himself into Zavala's shoes and understands how he feels. This is a feeling of being scared. It's just that this feeling of being scared is manifesting to such a degree that even Cayde is a little bit worried. Crow's been spending too much time with Osiris and tries to impart some words of wisdom upon, us in general, as he relates a saying said by Eris unto us. Zavala, being scared, is feeling fear. So that's where the saying that Crow says would come into play. It's interesting to note that what the emotion Zavala is feeling is fear, as fear is arguably one of the strongest emotions, and the witness plays into Zavala's fear, specifically by the fact that, the witness has given Zavala nothing and has basically taken everything away from him in turn, as long as you ignore the greater picture, but it is by capitalizing upon this fear that the witness hopes to tempt Zavala into the darkness. All right, I'm still on TQs as I try to take care of these ads out here. I probably just have not switched because I completely forgot to even remember to switch back to the Verglass curve in the first place because the server issues were triggering me. The current problem that I have is balancing how much light and darkness I'm using, because it's either because I either use too much of one or the other, which is why I'm switching out my weapons and whatnot. I'm also testing out this the new weapons we're getting and whatnot.
Nice to see you all again, but Traveler could have asked before yanking a guy back to life.
New weapons, I say as I pull out the only new weapon that I'm using.
I need to tell you something before we go any further. Meet me up ahead.
I love the rally banners.
Cryptic, my favorites. Yes, let's.
As I place down the first campaign banner, Crow teases us and Cayde by being ominous and cryptic, as it pointed out to us in a very meta context. That is definitely the benefit to having Cayde here. We can have some, some comic relief alongside a little bit of meta breaking jokes, haha, very funny. Taking a lot of damage here. I'm just gonna die to the Harbinger because I'm just trolling. I have no idea what was happening there. Yes, I used the classic excuse of I was looking at chat, so we're gonna go ahead and pretend that this entire first attempt never happened. It is fake news. All right, deciding to not troll this, gonna go ahead and use a cold snap to just go and take care of this entire troop. Wow, that's the entire troop dead. Insane. A Strand Weaver pulls me in. Wow, it almost pulls me in twice as I luckily am behind some cover. So the Harbinger is, you know, really annoying because it's super aggressive. Wow, the ice is really slowing me down. I am gonna have a Nova Bomb just the ads instead of the Harbinger for some reason. I guess it's because I have Transcendence, so I can just go ahead and pop that to drop down a Vortex Nade. Gonna get ahead and get slightly pulled by a Weaver. No big deal though. My Vortex Nade is actually going to regen so much energy because of the amount of enemies it sucked up that time around. All right, something insanely wacky happens here as I'm fighting the Harbinger. I toss down my Vortex Nade. The Harbinger activates its super, essentially, as I'm confused what is happening after that. So here we are attacking, dropping the nade. Okay, I'm snapping. So that's a prismatic snap, and I get sent into third person as I presumably get hit by the Harbinger's strand attack, but it seems to have canceled out, right? Somehow? Did my Vortex Nade do that? Because I'm pushed into third person mode here. All right, dropping the Vortex Nade. Vortex Nade is popping. Now I'm snapping as the Harbinger is spinning. And that's what pushes me out into third person. So I was pushed into third person for some reason, and then the Harbinger shoots out its things of strand. I actually have no idea what is happening there, except for the fact that I was hit by the first strand gating by the Harbinger, and somehow I just canceled out of it, which is why I never got pulled up. That's the only explanation that I can come up with for what happened there. Gonna go ahead and pick up the Volatile Darkness. Pretty nice to just be able to pick up Darkness. Very cool. I'm just throwing it for some reason. You know, just gotta test it out, I guess. Make sure it respawns and I don't have to do anything too annoying. Wow, it took a sudden burst of damage. Actually, it is because the pop-up at the top said, you know, it was those throwable objects. That's probably exactly why I threw it. TQs is so slow, I'm not gonna lie, to be honest. Getting pretty precarious. Luckily, my cold snap nades are not going to save me. Wow, the Weaver hits me by my side and I die. Tragic. All right, going to go ahead and prop Prismatic and just insta use my super. So we're going to go ahead and do a massive amount of damage to the Harbinger. It's actually not even close to being dead, which is rather unfortunate. Oh my god, the energy regen from that was crazy. I literally have Prismatic completely full again, and I can just toss down some more nades. My Apex Predator gonna go ahead and finish off the Harbinger, so he can go ahead and pick up the Volatile Darkness. Let's not mess this up this time around. Alright, I'm just taking my time as I clear the ads, just pushing up slowly but surely, you know. Dying would mean I waste a ton of time, so it's just better to make sure I'm playing safe in order to not die. So now we can pick up the Volatile Darkness all the way at the end here. Gonna go after I kill all them enemies. All right, the Volatile Darkness clears the way forward, and that ends the section. Wow. I do wonder if you could take that Volatile Darkness and reach the exit before even killing the enemies. That would be something to test next time around. Cries in pain, says the Traveler, screaming in pain.
Oh, I felt it too, little guy. That's the Traveler. A witness is digging around in its guts.
It's screaming for help.
Oh, there's an error. All right, Crow and Cayde do my job for me. That cry was the screaming of a Traveler. This area is nice and icy, which is interesting as we meet Cayde and Crow up here.
Hasn't done enough of that already.
It wasn't a Traveler. It was me. I wished my way here on an Ahamkara.
On an Ahamkara? The dragon that twists wishes and dreams into waking nightmares? What the hell made you think that was a good idea?
We were out of options. I remember thinking that I wanted to do this because I had to make things right. And just before I took the plunge, I remember thinking about the great Cayde 6. No light, no ghost, fearlessly staring up at me from the wrong side of his own gun. And there you were.
And there I was.
I should have told you sooner.
No, you did the right thing keeping this between us. Ikora and Zavala can't know the truth. Not right now.
They need faith.
Right.
Oh, he came back because of an Ahamkara wish. Interesting. Well, okay. So he didn't come. So he's made out of light, not like the Traveler, because the Traveler ain't coming back. All right. So it's in this conversation as Crow and Cayde overlook some location that Crow reveals to Cayde that he believes that Cayde is actually back, not because of the Traveler, but because of the Ahamkara wish. As we know, wish tends to distort your desires. And for some reason, Crow was thinking of Cayde as he traveled into, the Traveler. I have no idea why Crow would be thinking of Cayde in this, at the time, instead of thinking of like Mara. But, maybe I say I have no idea, but, if we consider the situation of Aldrin and, all the memories Crow now carries, I guess it makes sense that if we are heading into the Traveler that, you might think of Cayde. So that's not actually completely out of the ordinary of stuff that happened, because, it did happen, which is why Cayde is here. This also explains the black tentacles we saw in the cutscene. Those did not belong to the darkness, but they did belong to an Ahamkara. And so there were also Ahamkara tentacles in that cutscene. So if you are, an expert at this game, as in, not a new player, then you probably would have been able to recognize those tentacles as Ahamkara tentacles and could have guessed at the true nature of Cayde. Because, it's also been hinted through previous lines of dialogue that maybe the Traveler didn't bring back Cayde. The first hint we got was when Cayde was resurrected, but, his ghost wasn't, and he doesn't return with any of his powers of the light. If the Traveler resurrected him, then almost certainly he would regain all the abilities he had when he was a light bearer. So this is a pretty interesting twist, because the lines at the end specifically said by how, Cayde says that Crow did the right thing by not telling Ikora and Zavala, and how they can't know the truth, because at this moment they need faith. They need to believe in the Traveler, and they need to believe that the Traveler, and they need to believe in the Traveler in order to resist against the witness. Surely the Traveler has done everything for us, because if Ikora and Zavala reunited with Cayde, but it wasn't, if they figured out that it wasn't even the Traveler that brought them back with Cayde, they would no doubt question the Traveler even more, and that would shake their faith, especially Zavala, since his faith is shaken up right now. Ikora, when she first met Cayde and reunited with him, she thought it was a machination of the witness in the first place, right? So the fact that he would be the fact that he was brought back by an Ahamkara and not by the Traveler would almost certainly shake things up by that regard as well. So it's interesting that we, the Guardian, Crow, and Cayde are the only ones privy to this bit of information, and by not revealing it to Ikora or Zavala, we are lying to them by omission. This adds quite the amount of drama and tension into the personal relationship by this experienced by the characters, right? Because before now, we reunited with everyone, and meeting up with Cayde again, reuniting the Vanguard, everything was pretty happy-go-lucky, as long as you ignore the existential threat of the witness. But the fact that, Cayde wasn't even brought back by the Traveler is here to act as a bit of, spice in the character drama that happens as we try to fight against the witness. Who knows where this is going to lead, and if Ikora and Zavala find out, what will they do, and what will happen?
These Vex are followers of the witness. It's all divisive. The same zealots from the Black Garden.
I know all about the Black Garden. You sure you don't want to talk about why you're back?
The why doesn't matter. Never did. Just stay focused and clear path of the mountain.
Cayde displays a bit of anger as he clearly does not want to talk about, the fact that the Traveler did not bring him back. Because, while I did discuss how Ikora and Zavala might feel about learning this information. I didn't really discuss how Cayde feels about learning this information. The fact that the Traveler did not bring him back is to reunite him with the Vanguard in order to fight against the Witness is probably not so great on his mental, but it does explain some questions he has, mainly, you know, why he's missing his ghost and powers of the light. So it's interesting to try to figure out where Cayde is going to go now that, you know, he has this knowledge, and how the rest of the story is going to progress from here on out. Because
Listen, Crow, right
the
now,
nuclear in the title just for a reason.
something feels normal, okay? And blasting Vex feels really, really normal.
Just know that the Traveler hasn't abandoned you, Cayde. Even if you can't use the light is still part of you. I don't think my wish could have brought you back without it. You could be capable of things you don't even realize.
You know, the Crow is making sure Cayde still keeps his faith in the Traveler, because it's still important to keep faith in the Traveler, especially since we're in it and, you know, we're trying to fight against the Witness. Crow is probably right in the fact that, you know, even though it was the wish that brought Cayde back specifically, he needed the light from the Traveler, and that specific energy was what allowed him to be brought back in the first place. And ultimately, if we think of why Cayde was brought back, he must be brought back for a purpose, right? Crow believed it was his purpose to get us into the Traveler, and so surely there must be a purpose for him to have thought of Cayde as he entered the Traveler, and for me to know about myself. Wow. Great job, me. Great job, me. But yeah, surely there must be a purpose for Cayde if he was resurrected. Will he just vibe? Who knows? Our this encounter starts off by us destroying a spike in the middle. Gonna go ahead and take care of these bozos. There is a prismatic pool of energy that is provided to us as well. All right, after defeating the specifically buffed Minotaur in the middle, we gain the glyph touched buff. This, you know, brings back a previous mechanic and allows us to see a glyph. Now we just have to figure out where exactly the glyph is. And, you know, I found it by killing, not this Minotaur, by killing the Wyvern. So upon killing the Wyvern, the face of the Witness is revealed. Going to go and try to get into that prismatic pool, but there is literally a Wyvern right on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get on top of the second one. These finalizers are pretty annoying. It's random ass Quantum Harpy trying to fucking charge laser beam me down for no reason. All right, so I remember the Witness symbol, so we're going to go ahead and collect that. Next symbol I see on the ground is of a Black Fleet Pyramid. So interacting with that ends the encounter. So I don't even have to kill the rest of the ads. Wow. Very, very nice. Pretty chill. Pretty easy. I even said it might be the easiest first section. That's how easy it was. The view is pretty nice. I do like the icy location. The switch up from the grassiness is pretty good. I also like that we are able to constantly see the incision made by the Witness in every location, because not only does it remind us of where we started, it reminds us of where we need to go. Just got to get rid of these ads. Cayde likens Crow to Sundance, and considering his feelings about Sundance, which I assume are pretty strong, especially since he said he preferred being with the Traveler, with Sundance, in whatever the version of heaven that was, over being in the Vanguard, you know. Also, the bond between a ghost and guardian is infinitely important, you know. So think about if we lost our ghost, it would be pretty bad. So that's probably an easy way to just try to figure out how Cayde is feeling right now. And the fact that he mentions Crow to Sundance. Wow, I die here to just a random ass scrim. Oh, easy respawn. But the fact that Cayde likens Crow to Sundance is indicative of how Cayde has pretty positive feelings. You painted us as just, you know, typical Tsundere behavior. Nothing too surprising there. All right, second rally banner. This location is pretty neat. some warehouses. I take a note of how there's not too much filler between each section and the pacing is really good. Each of the encounters have, you know, a decent amount of mechanics. There's a decent amount of enemies to fight. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, so the enemy here is an unwaking mind. So I do have a little bit of PTSD of a mind type enemy from the Starcross exotic mission being at the forefront of my mind when it comes to mind type enemies. And it's not like Starcross was particularly difficult. It was just that room was incredibly annoying. I'm gonna go ahead and sidestep that darkness blast right there as I play behind the corner. What am I doing? Bro, these shields are trolling me. Aim better. Why am I, what are you flicking at? All right, take the time to destroy some frozen enemies. Gonna go ahead and take out my wayframe, clear that area, have to back away from the mine because it will just, you know, burn me down. Otherwise, it spawns on top of me. Wow, I'm getting trolled. I mean, it's good to know that it can do that. I am pinched a little bit. Good thing I threw out a need to freeze those bozos over here on this left side. Instead of focusing on the mine, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of the ads on the other side. Pull out the Apex Predator as it teleports away. Wow, really? Bro, oh my, okay. Miss a cold snap grenade, that's really bad. Miss a wayframe grenade, that's really bad. The mine teleports right next to me. Almost kill myself with my rocket launcher, but I managed to not do so. Wow, I'm literally surviving at 1 HP and I missed so many shots. Molding because I missed that rocket launcher shot even though I was nowhere close. Hit aim labs. The wayframe should be able to do a decent amount as it dodges my Apex again. Luckily, I do manage to bring it down to half HP. What the hell? Cayde had a shootout on Venus and was stuck underneath a Cyclops for 2 hours. That is a fun fact, I guess, but that sounds terrible. Going to go ahead and just, you know, Nova Bomb the Harbinger immediately. I do not want to waste any time with it, especially since I'm prismatic. I get a nice damage boost. Yep, we have another Harbinger. This time it's the Tormentor variety, which is infinitely more annoying. Luckily, the presence of ads actually does make it easier to deal with. And I said Tormentor, but I was going off sound only, and it's actually not a Tormentor, it's a Harbinger. So either the voice line is the exact same, or it was similar enough to where it caused me to not recognize one from the other. I'm sure that, you know, there's probably some differentiation in the voice line, so it's probably just a skill issue on my end. Also, what happened there? So, you know, I'm not the best aimer. I'm trolling a lot with Apex Predator, but as I fire this rocket, I hit one, and the second one, the Harbinger just moonwalks. I think it still took the damage. I think it was just a, you know, visual bug on my end, right? Because the rocket still explodes. No, it dodges the second rocket completely, or else it would have died. So the Harbinger just moonwalks and to dodge my rocket. That's crazy, bro. In case with the Harbinger dead, the volatile darkness starts to spur, which gives us the ability to see glyphs. So now I have to find wherever these glyphs are. All right, pick up the volatile darkness as it's in front of the mine. Use the volatile darkness to enter this new area. In this new area, I am blocked off from the mine, but I'm just gonna go ahead and take a bunch of frozen damage for no reason. Luckily, I'm able to freeze everything back. So these guys do have prismatic shields, so I am forced to enter the state of prismatic, and by that I mean transcendence. That's what the state of prismatic is specifically. This wyvern, a little bit troublesome, especially since I have no heavy ammo because I miss a bunch of shots on the main boss. By I miss, I mean the boss dodge, but you know, to be fair, I did miss like 2 of those. Pretty hardcore. Takes me a while to just, you know, kite around the pillar in order to deal with this wyvern, but I kill it and reveal the first symbol, which is the witness. I'm taking a step out of the room, gonna go ahead and drop a bunch of frozen nades, gonna go ahead and activate transcendence, clear the room, clear the area. Wow, just tons of progress. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the volatile darkness to clear out the second area. Gonna go ahead and enter Transcendence before I even enter the room, just to make sure I clear everything up as smoothly as possible, except the Wyvern just still jump scares me somehow. Alright, the Wyvern goes down, no problem, reveals the second glyph. Trying to remember the previous glyphs. The first one was the Witness, and the second one is of a pyramid fleet ship taking care of these acolytes, just, you know, not very well, except for the nade that comes out to do so. Wow, there we go. Ooh, dodge the darkness. Wow, that was incredibly lucky on my end, and I even make note of it. But the glyph is straight up where I'm running, like immediately to the left of the exit to this side entrance is where the first glyph is. Thankfully, it is the Witness glyph, which is the first glyph that I did touch, but that could have very easily been the wrong glyph, and I could have, you know, incorrected or inserted the incorrect input. But, you know, luckily, I was spared the waste of time that inputting the wrong glyph would have caused. So thanks for that one. Gonna go ahead and Nova Bomb, just straight up do so much damage to the Unwaking Mind. Just one shot from my Apex Predator or my Snap will take care of it. And yeah, second phase of the mind taken care of just instantly with my Nova Bomb. Wow, having a super that does a lot of damage feels pretty nice. Can't lie. Oh, I remember this. Okay, The reason I was a little bit doing this, I was like, wait, this looks a little bit familiar. I remember doing this literally 2 months ago.
Hey, before we meet back...
Oh, it's a hover walkway.
I meant what I said about keeping this wish business between us.
I won't betray your trust, Cayde.
I know, but I gotta say it out loud.
This is it. The energy signature is coming
The
from
natural frame, by the way.
the car's where
Boom. Dude,
found you.
nice. Direction. I'm like, holy shit,
This
nice.
is where I found your bones, Guardian. Where I brought you back for the first time. This is where everything started. There's an intense amount of light welling up.
I guess it's the same in D1 then.
That light, that's what it used to be like here, pure and powerful. The golden feeling you get when you're holding a winning hand, just forever.
Embrace the light. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, there we go.
That power. Wait, taken. We have taken incoming. Guardian, let's show them what the Traveler gave us.
All right, the Traveler has reconstructed memories in such a way that we are able to revisit the location where we died and where our ghost resurrected us. Even in the middle of my super, I die. Wow, amazing. Great tutorial section. But we do get access to the Traveler's new power, or rather, the Traveler grants us access to the new super and power, Song of Flame. This is a roaming solar super. I actually think that this is returning from the original Destiny, and honestly, it's pretty good. Decent amount of damage. It's roaming, so you can spam out your nades and take out your DPS weapons as well. I don't know why that took me a little bit longer to think of. Whatever the specifics of the verbs are and however they trigger are not exactly something I care to figure out in this instance anyways. And it especially does not matter. All I need to do with the super is do damage. Overall, the super is pretty strong feeling, especially when I compare it to like the other roaming super, Winter's Wrath. This definitely feels much better, mainly because the amount of ability spam that I can output with my, you know, solar nade and is really potent. I'm trying to compare it to Dawnblade, but I don't remember how much damage Dawnblade even did. I don't think Dawnblade was that good, to be honest.
Hey, Cayde. The Traveler's still with us, every step of the way.
Well, you weren't wrong, kid. You could just use a little tact. Guess I could too, for that matter. Maybe Ikora was right to try meditating. If we could cut through the noise.
You think we can open a line of communication with the Traveler?
Something like
Interesting.
that. Listen, you and the Guardian go on ahead. I'll see what I can puzzle out.
So this moment also is the Traveler showing that it is aware of our circumstances, and by granting us a power, it reinforces the idea of it being here and still influencing us in the best way possible. So it's a good reminder for Cayde that the Traveler is still trying its best, even though it wasn't responsible for bringing, him back and reuniting him with the Vanguard directly. He is here, and now it is up to Cayde to make the best of the situation at hand. This sudden burst of inspiration for Cayde has him feeling spiritual as he wishes to commune with the Traveler itself through some sort of meditation. Server issue, very cool. I mentioned I hope not. I didn't skip a cutscene, but if I did, it will play right now. Yeah, I think that might have been another cutscene. Fuck.
Things changed in the Guardian. New power. I can feel it.
The Traveler can give us all the weapons at once, but without a plan on how to use them, we're as good as dead.
Skill issue.
Worse.
But we can't overlook the fact that it is helping us, directly. It gave us Cayde.
And it's not enough. When I was at my family's homestead, something reached out. A voice, a new voice, calling to me, trying to get my attention.
The witness.
Wasn't your wife.
The voice in the darkness.
It was a statue draped in a veil, a relic of the witness.
Oh, maybe it's not the witness. Oh, it's a statue. The veiled figure.
You've seen the witness. You know what it wants to do to us. Maybe it's imprisoned others like that.
No. It's a trick, Zavala. The witness is weaponizing your grief and desperation against you.
What do you know about grief and desperation? Except how to turn it off.
That's not fair.
Listen, Commander. Cayde thinks we still might be able to get insight from the Traveler. Commune with it, like Ikora was trying to. The Guardian received a vision before. Maybe they will again. Cayde's out there right now, looking for a way.
And when that fails,
Then we'll think of something else.
This argument by Zavala and Ikora here is way more mature than the one they had in Witch Queen, which, I feel like I should have something to say about that, but I actually don't have anything to say about it. I just wanted to point it out that it definitely feels like the conversation and argument here is a lot more mature. So here, Zavala is not exactly completely trusting and putting all his fate in the Traveler, and he remembers hearing a voice. That voice, Ikora thinks is the witness, but Zavala actually believes it came from the veiled statue, and it would be in our best interest to take a look at these veiled statues in order to combat the witness, because, just because the Traveler gives us the tools we need doesn't mean we will be able to then take that axe to chop down the tree. It's going to require a lot of back strength and a lot of repetitions in the movements and motions we take in swinging our axe in the first place, right? Ikora tries to argue back, but Zavala is especially brutal with his words as he insults Ikora by just saying that Ikora bottles up her emotions. That's explicitly being said here by him saying, what do you know about grief and desperation except how to turn it off? Basically saying that Ikora never faces grief and desperation and just pushes those feelings aside. Ikora is obviously offended by this insult and, isn't able to retort, which is actually interesting, for a character. Croax is the, level-headed figure in replacement for Cayde, as Cayde has, gone to try to get some insight from the Traveler. Crow, taking the place of Cayde as the voice of reason or a third party mediating between Zavala and Ikora is some nice symbolism and shows the progression. Cayde, originally no longer a part of the Vanguard, and we know that he was brought here not by the Traveler, but by the Ahamkara wish. So him not being here with the Vanguard and not talking to them anymore is interesting. And I'm on Osmomancy.
Chose us. We were led here, shown where we first met, where you rose in the light. These new powers you've been able to harness since we arrived, they're growing stronger. You have too. The Traveler is empowering us to be its champion. Zavala may be dead set on striking at the witness, but I think Ikora is right. We have to commune with the Traveler. We have to have faith. We have to have hope. We can't let the witness pick us apart. The fire team needs you to anchor them, like we do for each other. Let's catch up with Cayde and Crow and find a way to make contact.
Zavala is typically the one who places his entire faith and trust to the Traveler, but now the flip has been scripted. Instead, everyone except Zavala is placing the entirety of their faith into the Traveler. I actually like this subversion because, you know, Zavala was the most in tune with trusting the Traveler, and the Witness obviously capitalizes upon this emotion. The fact that the Witness, you know, offers so much while the Traveler offers nothing is almost certainly haunting Zavala's mind. It is also probably, you know, being offered such grandiose claims by the Witness probably makes Zavala understand the absolute power of the being that is the Witness. So he probably understands that in this current moment, we still have no chance to defeat the Witness. You know, the Witness is in the Traveler. If the Traveler is not able to defeat the Witness by itself, how are we supposed to do so? Even if it does give us, you know, powers it believes we should be able to use to defeat the Witness. Ghost obviously is a being that was created by the Traveler, and so it probably almost, I'd say unconditionally, believes in the Traveler. It would be incredibly weird for the Ghost to not do so, because even like Hive Ghosts still technically are light bearers and are still a part of the Traveler, right? As the mission comes to an end, the question of Zavala and if the Witness is going to tempt him is the most prominent question now in our mind. What will tempt Zavala if he is to be tempted in the first place? Will he actually accept the Witness's terms and conditions? Ikora broke him free from the hallucinations that he suffered from the Witness inside his house the previous time. But, you know, who knows what's going to happen this time around. Noticing that Zavala's temperament is quite precarious, Ikora contacts Cayde and schedules an intervention. Somehow we need to come up with a reason for Zavala to regain his faith completely. So the question is now, how are we going to do that?